Just kidding. Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from So Hungry Hippie. Today I'm going to show you, I need to grab my sample. I'm going to show you 3 ways of adding an embellishment to your leather straps. This right here is a grosgrain ribbon. I'm going to show you the same method that you would use on all 3 styles. I'm going to do fabric, and I'm going to do a cork strip, and I'm going to do, I just dropped it. I'm also going to do a, what is this called? A seatbelt webbing, which is a lot like the grosgrain ribbon, the way it feels. I wonder what I did with that. I'm going to do pinstripes. There it is. So this embellishment, it's super easy, super quick, but you might want to use my tips because I think what happens a lot of times is this top layer shifts and causes a lot of angst. So let's not do that. Stick with me. All right, here we go. Let me make my machine. Yeah, my machine is on and my iron is on. I'm using my mini. And in the past, I have used both Stitch Witchery, and today, because this is what I have, I am using Wonder Under 805. This is a fusible web that makes your fabric sticky. Yep, this one is, it's what I'm using. It works. So there are plenty of different fusible webs you can use. I will link them in the description box. I think I've tried about every single one there is on the market and they all work fine. So really it's just up to you on what you have available. All right, let's go overhead so we can get started. I just cut this strip of the fusible web. I'm going to move my cutting board. And what I'm going to do, oh, I really need my mat. Where's my ironing mat? I was thinking, what's wrong here? What's wrong with this picture? This is what it is. So there's no wrong side to this specific piece, so it doesn't really matter what side I iron it down. The fusible web has a rough side and a smooth paper side. So you want to make sure that you're ironing the gluey side down. The iron is going to be touching the paper. And I'm going to just make this centered all along here. I like to cut it a little bit less wide than the material because then I'm guaranteed that none of that glue stuff is going to get on my ironing surface or the product that I'm sewing this to. I feel kind of out of breath today. All right, I'm gonna let that cool a second. And while we're letting that cool, let's cut a piece of cork. Now I would totally get my acrylic ruler out to do this really precisely, but I'm just showing you the technique today, so I'm not gonna freak out. Plus, that's pretty darn close. Now, remember, you can make this as thin or as wide as you want to. I think I'm going to trim it down a little bit more. And actually, I really like this look. I may need to, oh, that was the 1 inch, and this one's the 1 1/4 inch. I think I might like it on the black even better. Oh, that looks really nice. Okay, I'm going to do that one for real because I'll use that strap. So I'll cut a bigger piece in a sec. For now, let's do this little sample for you here. This could be a key fob or a little accoutrement for your bag, hold keys or what have you. I am going to peel the paper off. Okay, now this is sticky a little bit, and I'm going to center it. So pretend this is a very long strip. If you're doing a strap, just pretend that this is super long. Oop. I'm going to grab my pressing sheet. I'm just using this Teflon baking sheet because it's very easy. I use it all the time for a pressing cloth. I'll put a link in the description box so you can get the same thing I have if you want to. It's like $6.98. And there it is. And now we will go to the sewing machine and sew this down permanently. My machine is not on. I mean that camera. Where's Ramel? So I'm going to hook this up and we'll do it this way. I'm using Gutermann thread, all-purpose thread. Oh, my stitch is really... I'm using a 3mm stitch length. Pivot with the needle down. And that's literally all there is to it for all the different materials. Isn't that so cool? You could see my stitching on the back because I didn't use a black bobbin. So now we will do the same process for cork and fabric. And this is exactly what you would do with ribbon as well. Okay, so get my cutting board so I can cut these exact. Now I know my strap here is 1 1/4 inch wide. 1 1/4 inch wide. So I'm going to cut my strap 1 inch, or the fabric 1 inch wide. Wow, I'm on the struggle bus today. Something is in the air. Let me make sure this looks good, because I want a little bit of that strap peeking out behind it. I don't want the whole thing just completely covered, if that makes sense. And you might get it on here and think, oh, I want a little bit more strap showing. And I think I do. I'm just going to cut about 1/8 of an inch from that other side so that I can see a little bit more strap. It's just a smidge. This is why I test it. Okay, yes, I like that. Little pop of leather behind the cork just gives it like that extra notch up. Okay, so now we need to cut our fusible web. And I'm going to cut it exactly the same width as my cork, or a little bit skinnier. Okay. And this up here, actually I'm going to make it kitty corner so I can fit it all on. All right. I'm going to iron it on. You can always put a cloth behind this if you're worried you might iron some of the fusible onto your wool mat or your ironing board. I can feel it gripping. Starting to grip that cork. I do have my iron on full heat. That's how I tend to work with it. Sorry. And I don't have a problem with it, so it's fine. I'm letting that cool slightly. I'm going to prep my leather strap, placing it on the work surface. I'll move this. That leopard is distracting your eyes, I know, because it's so beauteous. I've got my Teflon pressing sheet nearby. Here's my strap. Time to peel off the paper. Now, if you're having to fight with it, that means it needs to be pressed a little bit more with more heat, or it needs to cool down more. So just be patient. I know it's hard. Being patient is hard. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put the sheet on top. Now I'm going to lift. I start in the center and I work out because I really don't want that to shift. You have a few seconds if you think you pressed it on wrong. You have a few seconds where you can peel it back up while it's still hot and reposition it. This is a fun way to make your straps really, really unique because for sure it's something that's seen. So if plain leather isn't for you, just think of all the things you can do. Your favorite fabric. Now, when I'm doing fabric, I'll show you what I do so there are no raw edges. Very simple. You probably already know what to do. I used to make key fobs in this way on plain webbing, and I would sell the heck out of them at craft fairs because it was a lower price point. So lots of people could afford a key fob. They wanted to buy something, you know, but they couldn't afford a big, huge bag. I mean, I sold thousands. And I think the key is you want to remember to make it about them. So a lot of times the fabrics that I would not normally go for, that's what sold the best because it's about what they like, you know. Okay, so I am going to put this back up. Now you can absolutely use a tool to help hold this down for you. I'll take this out so we can move on. But I would sew it down that side and up the other, or down both sides. Whatever works for you best. So for the fabric version, I fold it like double fold binding. And that ensures that there are absolutely no raw edges. So I am going to cut this. I like it nice and thick. So what I do is I cut it at 3 inches for a 1 inch wide strap. This strap is 1 inch wide. You can do 4 if you want. You can do 4 inches wide, but I don't want to use more fabric than I need to. Give it a small press in this side. Because then I take it over one more time. And I don't go all the way to the edge. This is lapped, I would call it. So it's tucked under. It's not all the way over. And I do that on purpose. I'm going to test this quick. See, I could lap it. I need to lap it a little bit more. Bring this almost to the center. Reposition, reposition. It's okay. Nothing is permanent. And then lap it. And now it will allow some of that leather strap to peek through, which I like. I'm going to put on my fusible web as well, but I like to test it, remember? Yes. I love that. Just a smidge of leather strap is peeking through. It's going to look so good. Now I'm using a dark fabric, but a lot of times I'm not. It's a lighter fabric, and that's why I do those layers, because I have done it before and I can see through the fabric, and that just makes it look cheap. So this is my method for making sure that nothing is see-through. Everything just looks really professional. Like I said, I've done thousands of key fobs this way. And it really can bust your stash quickly. It's awesome. I'm going to get out some more stitch. I keep calling it stitch witchery. This one is Wonder Under. Have you noticed? It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need it to be on there so it holds the fabric as you're sewing it. Now, if you wanted to, if this fold is tripping you out, you could always put a layer of double sticky tape to hold that down there, okay? You can absolutely do that. In fact, you could probably, I think you could do it on this too if you don't want to use the web. Where is my double sticky tape? Let me see if I have any here. I have this in the shop. You can absolutely use this in place of fusible web. The only thing is it's very thin. So you'd need to use 2 layers here if you want to use it for in place of the double fusible web. I'll use it on this fold so that you can see it will hold this down, so I don't have to fight with it at all. And now I'm going to fold it. Okay. There we go. Now, if you want to, you can tuck the short ends under. I usually carry it off the end of the strap and then I cut everything at one time. All right, let's sew this down. Now remember, you can put in your matching threads. I'm not pulling on the fabric, or the ribbon, whatever you're using. I'm not pulling on it. I'm letting the feed dogs do their thing. All right, needle down, foot up. I'm gonna turn. Okay, there it is. So again, this is exactly the same, whatever method you want to do. Ribbon, seatbelt webbing, fabric, cork, vinyl. We could do this little one with vinyl. It's exactly the same. I use the same technique for all those different materials. And I do this every time. So I've tried it. I've tried not to use the double fusible before, and it just went wonky on me. And when I'm doing stuff like this, I want the most efficient, best result possible. And so that's why I take the time to use the fusible. You will hear people tell you, you don't need that. And you just say, okay, and do your thing, okay? You don't need anyone's permission. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do this, post a photo. I'd love to see your embellished straps. And remember, our So Hungry Hippie leather straps are completely sewable. Even if you give it a treatment like this on the top, you can still sew this onto your bag. You don't have to have hardware, rivets, etc. Now, you can use those pieces if you like to. I do both ways. And yeah, works either way. So, all right, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. We go live twice a week and here with a tutorial once a week. So you'll see us 3 times a week if you want to. All right, I'll see you later. Take care.